Hey, Astro Kids, and welcome back. This is your horoscope for Venus and Aries. This will be taking place from April 9th till May 4th of 2021. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So this is an energy that I'm very familiar with. I have this in my chart. So what happens when Venus shifts into the sign of Aries? Well, Venus feels most at home in the sign of Libra, which is opposing Aries. So this is a neutral placement for Venus. Venus would rather be in the sign of Libra, where this is about peace, balance, fairness. And so as Venus shifts into the sign of Aries, this becomes much more direct, much more spontaneous, much more aggressive in this sign of Aries. And so as we shift into this transit here of Venus and Aries, this makes us more spontaneous, much more direct when it comes to partnerships, when it comes to connection. This is an area where if you are involved in a romantic relationship, you can become much more protective, much more direct, much more bold in the style of relationship. As far as business partnerships and going after the things that you want in terms of wealth, remember that Venus represents our possessions, our wealth, the things that we desire, the things that bring us peace and comfort. And so all of those things that are pleasurable, that are sensual, materialistic, this drive for these things in our life becomes much more prominent. This is much more bold, much more direct when it comes to attaining the things that you find comfort and peace in your life. So, this pursuit, this desire to find that peace, to find that comfort, to find that fulfillment becomes much more intense here in the sign of Aries, where it was previously in the sign of Pisces, much more serene, much more relaxed. This energy becomes more spontaneous in this sign of Aries. And so, depending on where this is in your chart, this will activate that particular area of your chart in terms of what it is that you want and desire. There is a strong urge to go after these things. And especially as we start off coming into the sign of Aries with Venus here, we will talk about the nakshatras. And so as Venus shifts into Aries, it will start off here in the Ashwini Nakshatra, which is symbolized by a horse head. So this energy of a horse is what we think of when we come into this area of Venus and Ashwini. This energy, this drive, this quickness to go after the things that we want. If we think about a horse, the amount of energy and the amount of spontaneity and quickness of movement is a huge factor in this beginning portion of Aries. And so this is a time, especially if you are looking to achieve something in your life, again, depending on where Venus is in your chart and what houses Venus rules, this gives you a lot of energy and drive to acquire those things that you want to achieve in your life. And this is going to be a very short video on this transit of Venus in Aries. I will circle back around to give you a part two of this one. But this first nakshatra, a lot of vitality, a lot of energy, a lot of alertness. This nakshatra is controlled by Ketu. And so this desire is selfless actually coming into the start of Aries. So even though we talk about Aries as being a very self-oriented sign, of being very independent, very bold, very daring, this first portion of Aries is very selfless. Those who are born under this nakshatra of Ashwini make very good medics, very good psychologists, people who are helping others. So this is a very selfless and protective type of nakshatra here, where there is an instinct to care and protect for others, an alertness to respond to the issues and problems in life. And so this area of Ashwini is the least selfish of this Venus and Aries transit here. This becomes about going after the things that you want to protect, that you want to serve. And so this is highly connected to your destiny, your purpose, your mission of what you're trying to accomplish in life. Now, as we come into this Venus transit, not only is Venus entering into Ashwini with all of this energy, this quickness, this basic instinct to go after the things that you desire, but this will also come into an association with Uranus. For those of you who wanted me to add those 3 extra planets in, Uranus will be here in this nakshatra to start off. So Venus will come into this conjunction with Uranus, and Uranus bringing in all of this spontaneous, unpredictable energy. So this is very intense starting off this transit here where a lot of unexpected things can take place, a lot of things that are going in unexpected ways from what you expected. So this is an area where you can achieve a lot that you may have thought that you weren't able to. This Aries energy gives a tremendous amount of drive and power to achieve the things that you want. And this is a very consistent energy, right? When we talk about tropical astrology, we think of Taurus as being the most consistent. In Vedic astrology, Taurus is very much consistent to the point of being very stubborn, very lazy, but Aries has this consistency of being determined, of being driven, of remaining loyal to the task at hand. And so this energy becomes very strong here. And with Venus here, especially being a planet that is much more relaxed, that's much more peaceful, this is going to give a tremendous amount of drive and power that takes away from some of that relaxation, that luxuriousness of Venus. And so as we come in here, this desire to attain the things that bring you peace and luxury becomes more pronounced, more so than staying and relaxing in that luxury. This becomes more about being task oriented, going after what it is that you want to achieve in this sign of Aries. Now, after it comes into this conjunction with Uranus, the sun is going to shift forward and meet up with Venus. So we will see a Sun Venus conjunction where Venus will come into a combustion. And this is following a conjunction from the moon. Remember that the moon is going to be a full moon in this Swati Nakshatra also. So we will see the moon make 2 associations over to Venus. One will be in its conjunction and the other will be in an opposition later on. So the moon is going to make contact with Venus twice during this transit of Venus and Aries. But as Venus comes into a conjunction with the moon, this becomes a much more softer, much more emotional energy. Remember that this is still in Aries though. So there's still this drive, this energy, this determination that is there. But as the moon comes closer, this makes it more emotional, much more reactive, much more sensitive. And so this is an area, especially coming up here on the 11th of April, where you want to watch your moods. You want to watch your actions of what you're doing because this Aries energy is about action, right? Aries wants to jump out on the battlefield and take care of action. This is a Mars ruled sign. And so when we think about this Martian energy, we have Aries and we have Scorpio. Aries is like the soldier who jumps straight on the battlefield and goes into the action. Scorpio is more so waiting and being protective and defensive. So Scorpio is going to be more strategic. It's going to be more so waiting for that moment to strike, where Aries is going to go in and strike right away. This is an impulsive, direct, straightforward energy. And so as Venus comes into this conjunction with the moon, this becomes very reactive, very emotional, very sensitive, where you can take some rash actions to try to find some peace and comfort in your life. But this may not be the correct action to take, right? This energy of Venus and Aries is almost like jumping into love without taking the time to really get to know a person first. So this energy is very impulsive, it's very direct. And so you want to be cautious, especially when the moon comes into this conjunction, as it's a very emotional, reactive planet. This can activate a lot of unnecessary actions that are not wise to take. On the 14th, we will see this combustion of Venus. And so this is where this energy becomes even more intense. This sun is in its full power, its full exaltation here in Aries, and it's coming into a combustion with Venus that is a bit uncomfortable in the sign of Aries. And so the sun has the upper hand here. And with this energy of the sun and Aries, this is very strong, this is very passionate. This is going to add a lot to the passion of Venus, which is much more sensual. So this becomes an interesting time where some of you are going to see this energy pop up in relationships, especially for those of you who are in romantic relationships. Venus is not functioning correctly in the combustion. And so this energy becomes wildly sensual. It tends to lack boundaries coming into this area where this can be an interesting area and time for many of you where your drive, your sensuality is increased in your relationships. And so this can tremendously increase the sex drive and the desire for sensuality and intimacy in relationships with this energy. For those of you who are seeking relationships, this can increase your desire to pursue a partner as well. And for those of you who are in a business partnership, this can give you this increased drive to go after what you want, even if it means breaking the rules or doing something that is incorrect. So, this impulsivity of this Aries energy increases here with this combustion of Venus. On the 18th of April, Venus will come into a conjunction with Mercury. This is a great conjunction. Venus and Mercury are friends. And so this area really becomes great because Mercury is going to add a little bit of rationality to this energy so that you're not so much going to impulsively do things without thinking about it. Now, Mercury is not Saturn, right? Particularly with this Venus and Aries transit, we want Saturn to be in the conjunction, but it's not going to be there. So this energy is not going to be slowed down. However, Mercury is going to add some logical thinking and planning. And so this is an area where those of you who are just jumping into things that you want, you may feel more inclined to talk these things out first to come to a proper decision of how you're going to go after this. Again, this doesn't delay it, it doesn't slow it down. There's no Saturn here, but this Mercury does give a little bit of rationality to help you facilitate this Venus and Aries energy. From there, on the 20th, Venus is going to shift into the nakshatra of Bharani. And so this energy here becomes much more focused on work, on your efforts, on getting the things that you want. That first nakshatra was much more selfless. This one is much more selfish, as this is focused on what it is that you want to achieve. This is a Venus controlled nakshatra. And so the desire to get the pleasure, the material gains, the peace, the comfort, the luxury increases here with this nakshatra of Bharani. This becomes a nakshatra where those of you who want something really badly, you can find yourselves working even harder for it, sacrificing a lot to get what you want, and this energy can slow down a bit. This Bharani nakshatra is much more patient, it's much more relaxed than that first nakshatra. But still remember that we are in Aries, where this energy is very much intense, very spontaneous. There's a lot of energy to use up in this Venus Aries transit. And with this, we are going to see a stellium in Aries, right? Venus will be with Uranus, it will be with Mercury, it'll be with the moon at a certain point, it will be with the sun. And so this is going to be a huge stellium of this Aries energy, of this drive, this determination, this energy. to go after what it is that you want, to pursue relentlessly, to defend, to stand up, to protect. This energy of Aries increases the strength. So again, you want to look at what house does Aries control in your horoscope. This is going to tell you a lot about how this Venus and Aries energy is going to play out for you. On the 27th of April, Venus will oppose the moon in Vishaka. So this will be coming off of a full moon that we will have in Swati a few days before this opposition of the moon in Vishaka. So this is a very interesting transit here. The moon will be in Vishaka, which is a Jupiter-ruled nakshatra that falls between Libra and Scorpio. This one will be at the end of Libra and it will be opposing Venus. Very interesting, as Venus would rather be in Libra. And Venus would rather be in this nakshatra that is controlled by Jupiter as well. This Bharani nakshatra is controlled by Venus. So there's nothing to stabilize this Venusian energy. It's increased through this nakshatra. In this opposition, this becomes a time where you want to be careful because this sensitivity, this feeling of wanting to achieve something great is increased. The moon in Vishaka gives this desire to be successful, to win, to conquer. Remember that Vishaka nakshatra is controlled by Jupiter. It is blessed with this ability to attain good luck and fortune. And this desire is increased, especially because we're at the end of Libra, where we're starting to shift into Scorpio. This desire to go after what you want, to pursue it relentlessly, that is connected to that Scorpio energy. And this is opposing a Venus that is already in Aries with this strong desire, this strong passion to get the comfort, to get the luxury, to get the pleasure that you want in life. And so this becomes an interesting time where your desire and the thing that actually brings you fulfillment are in opposition. And so for a lot of you coming into this space on the 27th, you want to make sure that everything that you are going after is truly something that is satisfying, something that is nurturing. Or is it just something superficial that you're trying to chase after? Especially coming off of a full moon in Swati, there is a lot of this superficial energy of wanting to attain something that is glamorous, something that's shiny, flashy, that you can show off. This false sense of nourishment and satisfaction. This is a huge area where you want to pay close attention to this. Are the things that you're pursuing, are they truly going to fulfill your desires? Are they truly what you want? Or is it just something to show off, something to have that is just flashy, that just looks good? Now, following that, on May 1st, Venus will shift into its last nakshatra in Aries, into the Kritika nakshatra, which falls between Aries and Taurus. This is symbolized by a knife. This is all about cutting through the BS, getting the things done, being serious, being focused on the task at hand. And so at this time, Venus is in a very powerful position where if you want something, if you're pursuing something, if you desire something at this time, this is a huge time where you can cut through the distractions, cut through the things going on around you that are pulling on your attention to focus on pursuing what you want to achieve in life. So this becomes a very powerful nakshatra. This depends on how you are using this one, though. You want to pay close attention. Are you just thinking that you're going to get what you want just by lounging around and doing nothing? This Venus in Aries is not going to allow that. Remember that Venus is a bit uncomfortable here in Aries. It would rather be in Libra. So this energy is going to make you work for what you want. It's going to make you work for the comfort, for the peace, for the luxury. That was your brief little horoscope on this transit of Venus in Aries that will happen from April 9th through May 4th. If you enjoyed this, feel free to leave a like as well as a comment. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button along with the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new content. We have so much to talk about for this month of April and moving forward into May as we have the eclipse seasons coming up. So there's a lot that is building that we have to discuss further in future videos. If there's anything that you like me to discuss as far as Vedic astrology, leave it down below in the comments and I will bring it up in a future video. If you are interested in learning more on Vedic astrology, there is a course available in the Facebook group Astrology Lessons with Daquan Jones and on Patreon. All of that is down below in the description along with the comments. I want to thank you all so much for joining. I hope you have a great day and I will see you in the next video.